just gonna go into it, you guys. Welcome to the Heavy Bangs episode. This is it? Should I go?
We're just going into it.
Just going into it like this. I think just try something different.
Oh, whoa!
So this is episode.
Do people like different?
Episode 9. Episode 9. Well, I mean, I don't know if maybe they will like it. It's kind of more casual, little more.
Threw me for a loop.
Little more kind of grounded. No, I don't know grounded if that's even right, but a little more laid back.
Oh.
We want people to thank you for letting us be here.
Yes, and also.
Yeah.
Merci notre français à l'écoute. Nous vous aimons.
And if you understand that is for you. And if you don't understand that, then that is not for you. But we will have the subtitles in the YouTube video.
And then also just to, include all. Danke an die Deutschen. Danke an die Deutschen.
Wow, we're all over the place. We're literally all over the place with language.
All inclusive.
All inclusive. Welcome to the Lance and Mischa show. That's what this is.
Bienvenidos. Gracias.
What do you have to say to the whites?
Bienvenido.
The white Americans.
You're speaking
English. You're right. So I will. So welcome. That's to the Americans and the Australians. Australians is hello and welcome as well. So I think basically there are other countries, but I think
hello. I think it's the Norwegian.
Hello.
Yeah,
that's a nice way to say it. Hello, and I'm not even making fun of it. Just it does sound fun to say. Hello, hello. Thank you for listening to the episode today.
Yeah,
we're getting into it, and this is
yeah.
It's a casual episode, kind of a laid back episode, and that is what we want to do here most of the time. So, I guess kind of getting right to it. The rooster is existing still over in the yard of the neighbor who lives on the north side of us. And the rooster is now just kind of crowing at certain times during the day. And
I think I heard the rooster, like, imagine for a moment somebody is kidnapping a child and the child goes to scream, but then the kidnapper...
Okay, well, you got to paint the picture a little bit better for me. A man kidnapping a small boy, or a woman kidnapping a young girl?
It's a large man.
Large man, okay, yeah.
Kidnapping a small boy for ransom.
For ransom. Are they outside? Where are they?
They're at school.
They're at school? Does he work at the school?
No, the child is about to get into a car, and this man has been hired.
So after school?
After school.
And the parents not paying attention?
Well, the parents are very wealthy, and they hire somebody to pick up their child because they're busy working.
Okay, so this is like kind of like an assistant.
The assistant, that picks up the child, yes, like a nanny.
Okay, like an assistant nanny or a full-time, or even just a full nanny.
Probably a full-time nanny, probably a stay-in, has their own room kind of nanny.
That's a servant.
No.
That's a house servant.
Not if they're, I don't know what you call it.
If they stay in and take care of everything, I think that's a house servant. Like rich people have house servants.
Oh. Then maybe it is.
I mean, I don't have one. I've never had one. When I was younger, I strived for it because it just seems like a life of excellency, or royalty. I think is the word I was looking for. Okay, so
the hired kidnapper.
Yeah. Okay. So the boy or girl walking to the
boy.
The little boy is walking to the car to the nanny. Okay.
Yeah.
This big guy is he Cuban?
I believe they're all Mexican. Actually,
they're all Mexican.
This is in Mexico.
Oh, okay. Okay. Now the pictures. Wow.
It's in Mexico City.
Great. Yeah, they have a lot of really great tiles and stuff on the ground down there.
They do.
Yeah. I like them a lot.
I've never been. I've seen photos.
Well, when I went there to Mexico City when I was shooting that project, it's
Crunch Cup.
Yep. Very, yes, very good crunch cup. I admired a lot of the tiles. Okay, so he's walking to the. Okay.
So the
continue.
child is walking to the vehicle to get into the car where the nanny is waiting, or maybe the nanny's waiting outside. I don't know.
Okay.
But the child doesn't even make it there, so it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Because the large man snatches the child.
And the nanny didn't see it, or
people saw, but it was well planned out. There was a getaway car.
So people are alarmed.
Yeah, because the man takes his hand. The boy goes to scream.
If he touches that, what did he touch the child?
On his face and on his whole body when he grabbed him.
So he touched his whole body.
Yeah.
That's so messed up.
So imagine for a moment.
I'm
that
mad.
Scream.
Okay.
The child goes to scream.
Yeah.
And the man covers his mouth as he screams. So the scream is cut off.
Oh, yeah.
That's the sound I think I heard the rooster make.
Really?
Yes, it felt like
they're touching the rooster then over there. They're doing sexual stuff, sexual things.
No, first of all, and in this story, this man is not doing anything sexual to the boy.
Okay.
It's about a ransom.
Okay, well I didn't know because you said he touched his whole body.
Well, because he had to grab him.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense. I guess I was just I assumed that it went to a dark place. I don't know. Okay.
No.
Okay. So that's good. That's honestly better that way because I don't. That's not a good picture to be painting.
No.
So anyway, the rooster's being touched though.
I'm saying, imagine that sound of a scream being
cut
instantly
off.
muffled or cut off completely.
Like choked or something or something.
Well, I think because, it sounds like they're definitely hiding the rooster because it comes out and only crows a couple times and then it's gone.
Right.
And so it's like, and then this time that I heard it, it started to crow and then it was shut off.
I told you I heard them shushing it. I think they were shushing it the other day.
Well, I don't know if roosters listen to shush.
Well, they actually do understand English, but and Spanish, but
I don't know what language the neighbors speak.
Well, they're Filipino, so they speak Philippines.
I don't think that's a language.
No, what is it though? Philippines.
Honestly, I hear Spanish a lot over there.
You hear Spanish?
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, they're not. Is it? Well, they're not Spanish, but I hear. I don't know that I hear Spanish.
Sometimes it may be workers.
Those might be. Those are probably workers. There's a lot of work being done.
There's a lot of work being done over there.
Yeah. Oh God, that crazy. Okay.
But I think
God, that just reminded me of I'm sorry. That just reminded me of the story of that guy getting kidnapped, or the little boy being kidnapped by that big guy. It reminded me of this one time where I was really little. I was probably like 7.
Mm-hmm. Were you kidnapped?
No, but I was in my mom's apartment, and she had gone for like a run, or she had gone to the store, or even maybe work. Or I don't think she would have gone to work. She wouldn't have left me there with her. Anyway, there was this guy she was seeing at the time, and kind of a bro-y guy, it seemed like.
Yeah.
But that's just me. I say that now in hindsight, but I don't really know if he was like a bro-y guy. Anyway, I was watching cartoons.
What is that, like a backwards hat? I don't know.
A bro-y is like, so bro is like, and I don't even mean anything negative by it. Like, because I guess I imagine someone who's like kind of bro-y is like someone who, really, it just feels weird to say, but like maybe someone who's like into sports.
Oh, okay.
But maybe also someone who's
athletic,
very athletic, but also goes to the gym a lot. Maybe they even do a little tanning.
Okay. Tanning.
And penis stuff. But anyway, so I was watching cartoons, and this all makes sense. What I just said, this all makes sense in the by the end of the story.
Oh, good.
So I'm watching cartoons, and he's trying to get. This is just what your story reminded me of. So and he's trying to get my attention, and I'm not giving him my attention because I'm 6 years old or 7 years old and I'm watching cartoons. It's a Saturday morning, and he's still trying to get my attention. I'm like not giving my, and I don't even know why he wants my attention. It's like let me be a little, it's. And then he goes and stands in front of the TV and blocks the TV, and then pulls his boxers down and wiggles his penis, and dances around in front of the TV.
Wow.
That's what that reminded me of. It reminded me of that the time that adult and
How close was it to your face?
His penis?
Yeah. Dare I ask?
No, I mean it was definitely. I would say it was probably 4 adult arm lengths away.
Okay, I'm glad it wasn't closer.
No, it wasn't closer. But then I started crying.
Yeah.
And not because that's not what you want to see.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know. That just, and then I told my dad, and the guy was, he worked at the gym. He worked at the gym in the local, in Spokane. He worked at the gym. He worked at the front desk. My dad happened to also go to that gym. And I told my dad, that he did that. And then the next day, my dad went into the gym and he went right up to the front counter and he punched that guy right in the face.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. And he lost his gym membership that day.
Did the guy get fired?
The guy got fired. And my mom.
They both had a loss.
And my mom broke up with him.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Well, she broke up with him obviously because he had showed me his penis.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't make me do anything to his penis or anything or whatever. Thank God.
Of course.
But yeah, just a sight to see. And that's what that reminds me of.
I didn't mean to bring that up.
No, it's fine. No, it's fine. It's fine. But I guess luckily that kid didn't have to be touched in that hypothetical story.
Yeah, and again, totally, I think the story went too far.
And
I really was just,
and not to even kind of really bring the story full circle, but initially the story was kind of a metaphor for this rooster making a noise, but kind of being quieted at the same time. It's almost like they were kind of choking the chicken to make it not make any noise anymore, which is also another term for masturbation. Choking the chicken. That's what I used to call it. I knew that. That's what I used to call it.
Did you make that term up?
Choking the chicken? No. I think that's been around for a long time.
Oh, okay.
But you probably don't, because you're
I don't use
when you masturbate, you don't choke a chicken.
This is where this conversation for me ends.
If you do that kind of thing or whatever.
Okay.
And that's just sexual behavior. So choking the chicken, anyway, full circle. So a lot of synchronicities already in the episode today. It's
don't we have
the Lance and Mischa show off with the ground, hit the ground, off with the ball rolling.
It sounded like a couple of idioms smushed
together. You're the idiot. Don't call me an idiot. No, that's fine. I tell you a vulnerable story, and you're gonna make fun, and that isn't fair.
You said idioms, a couple of idioms smushed together.
I heard it the first time, and you saying it again is just making it's making me a little bit more irritated. And this podcast is about peace and love and people who have good times.
Got it. My mistake.
Yeah. So, what do you did you bring anything to the table today for today's episode? Or?
Well, aren't we supposed to? You have corrections.
You have you
have something you.
Yes, you guys.
Misspoke.
Look, and I misspoke just now. I do have this is a part of the episode where there are some corrections. So thank you guys. Basically last week I had talked about my celebrity golf tournament being canceled, and it was, and it is sensitive to talk about, but I misspoke when I said Garden Springs, Iowa. That actually is not a real place. And I didn't do that to embellish a story. I didn't do that to make you guys go to Garden Springs or even think about it. Turns out the place is actually called Council Bluffs. And that's council as in people who are in a city. And bluffs as in someone who with a poker face. So that's in Iowa. And I just wanted to make that correction. And the other correction I had to make was...
Well, we have a correction that this one goes a few episodes back.
Really?
To our...
Okay, so this is a deep correction.
Episode.
Oh, to the wedding episode.
Yes, because we talked about the Airbnb that had been flooded.
Yeah, that was a wet mess.
And you said you compared the amount of water to 15 pregnant women's waters breaking.
Yeah, I did.
You said that was an accurate
amount of water.
Yeah.
And I misspoke.
Well, I don't know if you did or not, but I followed that. At some point, I remember us talking about pregnant women and their waters breaking. And I think I said that by the time they get to the hospital, their water has already broke. And that is misinformation based on...
So this is not my correction.
No.
So I did not misspeak in any way in this on the wedding episode.
I don't know. I can't tell you for sure about the 15 pregnant women's waters breaking and what that means.
So that actually so that stands accurate. But you continue your correction because I think the people are still listening.
I said that by the time a woman gets to the hospital, her water has already broke.
Yeah.
I think I said that.
I think you did too.
It was based off of a lot of Hollywood movies where
that'll get you every time. Hollywood will get you.
Where the water has broke and then they're rushed to the hospital. Well, we just learned yesterday that most women's waters,
I don't know. This whole sentence kind of sounds funny.
They don't break.
It
doesn't happen like that.
Waters don't break.
Yeah, that's what we heard yesterday.
No, I know. Yeah, no, it is. And that is interesting because they always paint it to be breaking.
Yeah.
That's the moment of I guess you know what it is how else would the Hollywood cinema world
how would it show
how
you
would
that?
They know this is pregnant time?
Right. That is how we see it.
That's how you see it. It's a dramatic visual.
And they say show don't tell.
Show don't tell. And show and no, they say show and tell.
Show don't tell.
Show don't tell. I've never heard that before.
You haven't?
No, but maybe that is something that you learned in the JC.
I've heard that in regard to writing, that you should show it and not just tell it. You can say the dog walked from point A to point B, or you can paint that picture and show it.
Kind of like what I had you do earlier today when you were talking about the when you were doing the metaphorical.
Yeah, kind of like that.
Which you painted very well. You painted with beautiful colors. Yeah. So okay. So that's.
Yeah, and I learned that because I visited a newborn.
Well, we both did.
We visited a newborn yesterday.
You visited a baby.
A newborn baby.
Well, yeah, it's a newborn baby, and it is new, and it is it's very new. I looked at it, and you could tell that it was brand new. It was a beautiful brand new baby, and
dear friends of ours had a baby.
They did. It's and they had just a small little baby.
Yeah, I think.
Well, they're all small.
Yeah, I think all babies are small.
But gosh, when it's so new, like it is, I mean, I think it even still has because they come in like a wrapper. I think the wrapper, it's so new. It's almost like it's still wrapped.
You mean like the
baby? Well, it's born in like this. It comes in like a sack.
Oh, right.
And then they cut the sack out, and then they take the baby out. But when a baby's
born in a sack,
when a baby is born, it comes in like a kind of like a clear sack.
A baby comes out in a clear sack,
like kind of like puppies. I imagine.
No.
But you know how like puppies are born in sacks.
It's been a long time since I've seen puppies born, but I do. But I have seen a human be born, and there's no sack.
Okay, well,
that comes out. They're not in a sack.
Okay, well, I've seen some stuff online, but that's fine. Anyway, I was more or less just saying that the baby is so new that it's still got the shine.
I didn't see a shine.
Shine as in like you get a new car and it's brand new, it's shiny.
Well, the baby is very small and
shiny.
Eyes not really opening yet. Right. I mean, they opened a little bit, but
they're still figuring out how to work. Even I'm sure.
Very pinkish.
Very beautiful eyes, though.
When they opened, yes.
Yes, they would like those. They had those clear blues.
I didn't see the color.
Oh, they were crystal like the sky.
No,
they were. They had that. They had that blue.
I don't doubt that the child doesn't have blue eyes, but I do doubt that you glimpsed that.
I looked into a lot. We locked eyes.
Really?
Oh yeah.
With the newborn, locked eyes.
Yeah, that's how I know it was so new. I saw it, and we made eye contact. It was a thing that we did. This is probably when you were talking to the other baby.
The older baby.
The older baby.
Who liked me.
Yeah. And that's really sweet.
Yeah, which makes me want a baby. Like my own baby. Like one that likes me a lot. And then it sits next to me and we become best friends. And
well, I mean, I can definitely get you a therapy pillow or something like that if you're looking for something like that.
No, I think I'm looking for more than that.
Well, then I can get you a cup. I mean, because those things are great. Have you seen those things? What? The therapy pillows.
No, I don't even know what that is.
The therapy pillow. It's like a pillow with sequins on it, and you rub it, and it
with sequins.
Yeah,
like party sequins or going out like.
Yeah. You know, I have like a sequin jacket.
Yeah.
And how you can rub it up and you can rub it down.
I don't think you're supposed to do that, but I've seen you do it.
Okay. Yes, you are, and you can. Anyway, they make pillows out of sequins, and they call them therapy pillows. And it's for people.
Who calls them that?
Oh,
psychiatrists?
Psychiatrists, people who make the pillows. But doing that motion back and forth on the sequins is very therapeutic, and it calms people when they're having panic attacks and anxieties.
Okay, I'm not saying I want a baby because of a panic attack.
Well, no. I'm saying that I could get you a therapy pillow, and it could be something that you hold, something that you touch, and something that also brings you calm.
Okay, it's not going to interact with me.
I
can't take it to its first day of school.
You can absolutely take it to school because you're going to be going to schools very soon. And you know what? I guarantee if you brought a therapy pillow to the JC, you'll make friends instantly. People will be like, you have a therapy pillow.
Nobody will know what that is.
Oh, the people who know how to party do. And they will. The people who know about therapy pillows will.
Well, I'm thinking that, I'm not getting any younger, and I probably I need to have, if I'm going to have a baby, it needs to happen probably within 2 years.
Okay. Well, I think this is a good, probably nobody wants to hear about this in the episode. Two is too soon, don't you think? And
you do have to consider that there's like 10 months of being pregnant, so
right. And then just basically 10 months of being a little bit maybe locked down and kind of in jail.
In jail while you're pregnant?
Well, yeah, I think kind of the whole household goes in kind of a lockdown in the pregnant mode now.
No.
No?
No.
You can still do stuff?
Yeah, I think you can do.
I doubt I would be able to hang out with friends.
Why would you not be able? What?
Because I couldn't be the guy. Oh yeah, he's hanging out with his friends. Oh, you're fucking pregnant. And then you and I'm not saying this is how you and your girlfriends talk, but you and your girlfriends could be talking and be like, "Where's Lance? You're pregnant." And you could be like, "Well, he's out doing this. He's doing this thing where he's camping, or maybe he went to the beach for the day, or maybe he's out skateboarding or something." And they'll be like, "He's out skateboarding? When is he going to grow up? When is he going to realize he has a baby coming and he needs to be at home with his fucking wife?"
Women have
God,
been
this guy,
having babies.
you're married to a fucking loser. That's what I feel like people might say.
They might. Who knows? But women have been having babies for eons. And I don't think your constant presence is necessary.
As long as it's not required, then it's something that we can.
It's not required.
It's something we can talk about in this life.
Nor is it requested.
Well, then that's something that we can talk about in this life. And, just changing topics. And not because I want to, and not because I think the listeners want to, or anything like that, But what is I do want to say.
Okay.
Is that I was recently on Twitter. I haven't been on Twitter in a while, and it's an interesting place to visit.
Yeah, you don't have a Twitter.
I don't have a Twitter, and that's just a personal choice, and that's just what works for me. But it is nice to sometimes go on there and just kind of see what's happening in that world. Sometimes it's nice to go to the grocery store.
Yeah, when you're hungry.
When you're hungry, when you need food. Sometimes it's nice to just go there to just kind of see what's in there, though, too, if you haven't been in a while.
I never do that.
I haven't either, but I know people who do that. So yeah, it was nice to revisit it again and go down the aisles. I saw some stuff.
What did you see?
Well, here's the thing. I don't want to just tell you what I saw. I think I'd make like a fun game for the listeners and for you.
Oh.
So what I'll do is it's a crazy place. A lot of crazy stuff being said. And also a lot of really great stuff being said. And a lot of really awful stuff being said, and just kind of middle of the road stuff. Anyway, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna read what you think I'm gonna read 5 tweets.
Okay.
And I'd like you to tell me, and look, they're not all. So you tell me which one is the real tweet. That's how this is going to go.
These are not real tweets.
So I'm going to read you these tweets.
Uh-huh.
And you're going to tell me which one of these tweets is the real tweet.
What do you mean the real tweet?
Do I need to I'll say it again.
Do you mean that you wrote all of these tweets but one? Or do you mean the opposite?
What I'm saying is I found these tweets and I'm going to read them all. And I would like you to tell me which one is... Oh, I see how this doesn't work. See, this is why I shouldn't have tried to improvise the game. I'm going to read you... Okay, so I'll try it again.
Yeah.
So, thank you. So anyway, so what it is going to be is I have compiled some tweets.
Okay.
And what I'm going to do is I'm going to read them to you.
Yes.
And what I would like for you to do is to tell me which one isn't real.
Okay, so the opposite of what you just said.
Yeah, you can see how I had a little bit of a mental
dyslexia
flip around
thing.
there.
Yeah.
And we don't need to call it dyslexia. Unless it is, but there is a good chance that it could be.
I called it a mental dyslexia, which is not even a thing.
Okay. Well, and I didn't mean to shut it down.
Shut it down all you want. It's not.
I'm not going to shut it down. I'm not going to shut down my queen, not my love. Anyway,
let's play this game.
Okay, great. So here is the game. So here are the 5 tweets. Please tell me which one is the fake tweet.
Okay.
Puff the Magic Dragon. And look, here's the deal. I was going to include all their handles.
Yes.
but I didn't because I didn't want to disclose their personal information. But mainly I just completely forgot.
Got it. Because I don't think it's their personal information.
No,
it's their handle. And
it's
they're
not.
already posting things.
And I just couldn't find the tweets again with these people. So I just couldn't find their handles. I wrote the tweets down and didn't write the handles down, and then wanted to go back and find the handles and realized I made a mistake. Well, but I didn't want to get rid of the tweets because I already found the tweets.
Well, if we ever play this game again, then.
Well, then, yeah, I'm sure we'll probably play this game again. I mean, it's the first time, kind of the first go. Okay, so here it is. Puff the Magic Dragon was a cis male. Let's not forget that. Dragon or not, still cis. Shm, hashtag non-binary.
Okay, so I'm supposed to say if that's real or not.
No, I'm going to read all of them first. So that's the first one.
All right.
And it is...
Spell shma for me.
Shma?
Yeah.
It's SMH, exclamation point.
It's shaking my head.
It's what?
Shaking my head.
Are you sure it's not shma? I feel like someone with an attitude is just like shma. Like, oh, I hate waiting for lines. Shma.
And you sell it really well, but it's
shaking my head.
It is shaking my head.
This whole time, I thought it was shma. Okay, so that was the first one.
Okay.
And we're going to go on to, here's the next one. Cis are sus.
What?
Cis are sus.
Is this one word?
This is three things.
3 things.
Well, I don't know if they're words because it's probably like an acronym of
cis are sus.
Sus, I think, is suspect.
Suspect. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Or maybe it's SUS. Maybe it's something else. I don't know. If any of the listeners are listening to this and know what SUS means in the acronym world, please write us an email. You can write into the website, heavybangspodcast.com. Here's the next one.
So that's just cis are sus?
Cis are sus.
Cis are sus.
Cis are sus.
Okay, I don't know what that means.
Well,
go
it's
on.
cis, CIS.
Yeah.
And then space, ARER.
Yeah.
And sus.
Yeah. Okay, go on.
Number 3. Too much research has been poured into what makes people trans. We should look into what makes people cis instead.
Okay.
Okay, so then this is the next one. I have honestly had it with cis white men terrorizing all of us with their fish obsession, buying unwanted fish merchandise, dragging us to fish concerts with their dude bro friends, playing Run Like an Antelope at family gatherings. I know all my fellow ladies can relate.
And Fish is like the...
Oh, Fish is a band.
Oh, it's a band.
Fish, yeah.
Can you read it again?
Do you not know of Fish?
I don't think
PHISH. Oh yeah, they're like
What do they sing?
Oh, I can't really tell you any of the names of their songs, but their stuff is really it's fun. It's kind of like, I think in the era of like Grateful Dead.
Oh.
They traveled around. They're like very psychedelic. You basically take LSD and listen to Fish.
Okay.
And they have like 20-minute guitar, so like it's wild and funky stuff. It's really fun. Anyway, I'll just go ahead and read the tweet again. And anybody, and shouts out to Fish. If you're listening to the podcast, thanks for being here.
And they're still alive?
Yes, still going.
Okay.
I think they're still going. They're still alive. I have honestly had it with cis white men terrorizing all of us with their fish obsession, buying unwanted fish merchandise, dragging all of us to fish concerts with their dude bro friends, playing Run Like an Antelope at family gatherings. I know all my fellow ladies can relate. Actually, let me take that last line. I know all my fellow ladies can relate.
Okay.
And then this is the last one. Muscles and dicks not on cis men.
Okay, and that's it.
Yeah, so you tell me which out of those 5 is the what is the tweet that is not real?
Meaning you wrote it.
No, meaning which of the tweet is which one is made up?
I'm gonna go with Cis are sus because that doesn't even make any sense to me.
That is incorrect.
That one is.
In fact, all of these are actually very real.
Somebody wrote all of those tweets.
Real people wrote all of these real tweets and put it on real Twitter for the real people to see.
Well,
interesting place.
Yeah. Well,
what does cis stand for?
Cisgendered. Cisgender.
Cisgender means?
It means a heterosexual person.
Someone who just has regular sex, kind of like the original way.
I don't know what the original way is.
I mean, I guess not the original way, but that may sound.
Talking about Adam and Eve.
Yeah, kind of like the first documented way. Original is wrong because I know there was a lot of homosexual sex and a lot of gay butt sex going on in history and stuff, and lesbian sex too, all sorts of sex. People a lot of times back in the day, I think a lot of people just had sex with everybody.
I don't know how accurate that is.
Well, you think about the Trojans. That's where the condoms came from. The Trojan people had sex with each other. That's how they got strong, and that's how they were built resilient.
They built a population, you mean, by having sex with each other?
No, that's how they became strong, and that's how they built resilience, and we were able to fight all those wars and all those battles.
No.
It's something like that.
Probably their military training. And
I'm sure that has a big part to do with it as well.
Yeah, so back to the...
Yeah. So...
yeah.
That's
so
where the game ends. So that's... Okay, so the game's over, and that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Bummer. That's a bummer.
It is a bummer. It was
that you
fun,
lost.
It was a fun game.
It was a fun game. And,
well, there was not an option.
And that's just unfortunate.
Okay. Well,
but that's what happens
one was unreal and the others were real, and
they're all real.
Yeah, that wasn't an option.
So
when
anyway,
you gave me the rules.
It's kind of like one of those multiple choice questions where they have sometimes you have to look closely, but they'll have all of the above answer.
Yeah, I didn't. You didn't give me that as an option.
It's kind of one of those trick questions where you need to just you as the thinker need to be like, wait, no. It's all of those. And I'm not saying that you're obviously so smart and so well educated. I mean, you've been in school for over 20 years or whatever. So I'm not saying that you're not smart, but what I'm saying is that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
I think it might be time to hear from one of our sponsors.
Oh, shoot. Yeah. I guess so.
Time for one of our sponsors, you guys. We're just taking a quick break here to hear from our sponsors.
Well, sponsor, we just have the one.
Oh, just one this week. Oh, great. Okay, go ahead. Just the one sponsor this week. You're going to go ahead and read it, Mischa?
Yeah, I'll read their advertisement.
Great. Go ahead. And I'll just do this again. Okay. So we're just going to heavy bangers. We're just going to take a quick commercial break here. I'm going to take that again.
Okay.
Hey, all you heavy bangers out there, we're just going to take a quick break from our sponsors. Oh, one more time. All you heavy bangers out there, we're just going to hear from our sponsors. We'll be back in a flash.
Fancy yourself an expert on knowing what people should do? Have something to say, but somebody keeps reporting you. Whatever side you're on, oppose one another. On Soapbox, the social media app that does not censor. Try out that new gay rape joke or pick apart heteronormative white men. Criticize anti-vaxxers or tell us why the vaccine is bad. Lord knows YouTube won't. No matter what you share, you will not be censored, but may be tracked by the FBI. Soapbox. Say it like you mean it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a new app.
It's a new app.
Did
you give it your all? Did you give that read your all?
Yeah, I'm not a voiceover actor, but I...
Did you give it, though?
Yes.
You didn't give it... You didn't bring anything special to the play. You didn't give it a little accent.
You're telling me I didn't do a good job.
I know you did a great read. I just... Do you think that it would be better with an accent or something? I don't know. We want to sell it to the listeners. Did they say that... Did they ask you to do an accent? Did they ask if you could do accents?
No.
Can I try reading it?
Yep. Here you go.
Okay, so you're gonna need to tell the listeners we're gonna take a break for the commercial break or for the sponsor.
We're going to hear from our sponsor now.
Hey everybody, it's Lance Paullin here with Heavy Bangs. We just got a quick sponsor here for you guys. Fancy yourself an expert on knowing what people should do? Let me try to take it again. Here it is. Fancy yourself an expert on knowing what people should do? Have something to say, but somebody keeps reporting you? Whatever side you're on, oppose one another on Soapbox, the social media app that no one does not censor.
This is terrible.
What?
This is terrible.
Is this not good?
No, it's not good.
I thought I'm giving it a little something.
Can I have my computer back?
Yeah. Great. So you're going to give it another go?
No, I think we got it.
Oh, great.
It's an app. It's called Soapbox.
Great. Well then, thanks to so all you heavy bangers, now back to the episode. Great. So we're back. That was our sponsor for the episode. That was Soapbox. And yeah, go ahead and check them out. Is there a website that they gave?
Oh, no, it's just an app.
Just an app. So can you find the app on the App
Store?
It's real?
Yeah.
Great. So you can find that actually on the App Store. So
I haven't looked for it, actually.
So this is a new app?
New app coming out.
Great. That reminds me of food. Anyway, great. So that is the end of the sponsor, and let me think about something. I think it's that time. Is it that time for where you like learn stuff?
It's as good as time as any.
Well, God, okay. I guess that's I guess this is the time for this. Mischa learns stuff. Wow, I'm excited to learn something, and I know our listeners are too.
I just finished reading Wuthering Heights.
Oh my gosh, that's one thing I wanted to talk about on the podcast. You finished reading Wuthering Heights.
And
it's Wuthering Heights.
No, there's no R.
What is it?
There's no Wuthering.
What is it?
Wuthering.
But it's with a U.
Yeah.
But
it's just the name of it.
I felt like you're saying weathering.
No, Wuthering.
Wuthering.
Wuthering. Yeah.
Okay, you're still saying it with I feel like you're saying it with an E, but the listeners will know. So anyway, yeah, you enjoyed the book.
I did.
So this book was written, go ahead and tell us, like back in just shortly after the Bible.
1847.
Yeah, 1847.
Not, it's probably a couple thousand, many years after the Bible.
When was the Bible written?
Well,
I know it. And I know it was a long time ago.
The Bible was written, each book was written at a different time by a different person.
Got it. I just felt like I guess they did kind of the New Testament sometime around 87.
No.
No?
Nope.
Oh, okay. So it's old. Okay, so and as well as Wuthering Heights.
Yeah, and I actually wasn't even going to talk about Wuthering Heights. In the book, there's so much talk of people dying.
It seemed like a bit of a gloomy book.
Yeah.
And do you think that was because it was written so long ago that people were just so much more, I guess they were probably just more depressed back then? I mean, it was right around the time probably, but right before the Great Depression.
No, it wasn't.
No?
No, it was nearly 100 years before.
Oh, God. So it was a slow build. It was a slow build to it. So that's what I mean. So do you think it was because things were just so much darker, kind of cold, and people were dying more back then?
Well, I think that
I do just want to say that people are continuing to die all the time. I just don't want to sound ignorant when I say people were dying more back then. People are dying a lot now too. Respect, continue.
Yes, so that is correct. There were a lot of people dying.
Yes, okay.
A lot of people died of tuberculosis at the time, and so I
also
wanted
known
to
as
look.
TB.
Yes, and I wanted to look into tuberculosis a little bit more.
And tuberculosis.
Tuberculosis.
What? Tuberculosis.
You keep throwing R's into words that don't belong there.
Tuberculosis. There it is. I did it.
Tuberculosis.
Great. Tuberculosis. And what were continue.
Do you have a question?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. So, yes, lots of people died of tuberculosis, which made me want to look into tuberculosis a little bit because it's not the first time I've read a lot about it in a novel, and there's been lots of mention of it without, you know.
I mean, really, it's a novel disease. Wouldn't you say?
No.
You wouldn't say so?
No.
Why wouldn't you? That's what I would like to know.
It's it's been around. I'll just give you some tuberculosis facts.
Okay, continue. Yes.
It's been around since antiquity. It's been around
What's antiquity?
Like ancient times.
Okay, so that's where antique comes from.
Yes.
Excellent.
They have they share a root word there, I think.
Yeah, they do.
Same thing with antiquated.
And antlers.
Nope. Just like old fashioned.
Antelopes.
No.
Ancestors.
No.
Okay.
So, gosh, I got a little.
You have a frog in your throat.
Yeah. For a moment I did.
Is it, you're done?
Yep.
Well, let's keep it going for the listeners.
Yes. So
we got to have this energy high, okay?
Tuberculosis.
I know this is a relaxed episode, but we need to be powerful in our delivery.
Tuberculosis has been around for, let's just say, hella days.
Is this in reference to it being around before the Bible times?
Yes.
Wow.
Definitely.
Okay, so it is an old disease.
Yes. They actually...
It's an antiquity disease, you could say. It has some antiquity behind it. Tuberculosis, yeah?
I don't know that... I don't think you're using the words...
But if I were to say that to somebody who knew both of the words, they would know kind of where I was going with it.
I think somebody could have a guess at it.
Excellent. Okay, continue.
So very, very old. They actually traced some of the oldest, I guess they found traces of it in a 17,000-year-old bison remain. In 17,000-year-old, what am I saying?
That's not
in a bison.
That's not what you want to hear.
In a bison that was 17,000 years old. The remains were 17,000 years old. They found it in Wyoming, actually. So here in the United States.
So they found tuberculosis in the fecal of the bison?
No, not in the fecal. In the remains.
That's what I mean by fecal.
Probably the bones
in
or the skeleton. Not in the feces.
No. Okay. Oh, so in the bone.
Yeah, because what else is going to have remained of it? I don't know that.
Well, that's what I'm wondering. I don't know how long bison fecal remains.
I don't think 17,000 years.
Because when you think about it,
unless it's been preserved somehow in the snow, right. And I don't know those details. I just know that that's the farthest back they've detected it.
Got it. Well, something just kind of clicked for me because it made me think of, well, I guess anything that is remains technically is remaining.
That is true.
So it really could be anything.
Yeah.
If someone said, "Oh, I found these cotton remains from this old sock from 1600," then
yeah, I see what you're saying for sure.
Great. I just want to make sure that everyone's understanding what I'm trying to say. That's all.
So they've found it way back there in 17,000 years ago. Mm-hmm. They've found in the Americas, as far as in different remains, in 180, they found it in the skeleton of mummies from 3,000, 4,000 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Or that actually might be 3,000. Sorry, not even.
Oh, great. So this will be on the corrections.
No, 3,000. I didn't mean to say 3,000, 4,000 years ago. I meant to say 3,000, 4,000 BC. So even farther back than just 3,000 years ago.
Right. Oh, got it. Okay. So, and what they're finding in these...
tubercular decay.
Which is actually...
Some sort of decaying. Yeah. It's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right?
Great.
Okay.
So they're finding that in the body? They're
in
just
the remains.
in the remains?
Yeah.
Yeah. Great.
So
continue.
are you going to keep repeating me?
No, I'm not repeating you. No, I'm just understanding. I'm simply understanding. That's all.
Okay. So there is bovine tuberculosis and human tuberculosis, and both of them have a common ancestor, at the very least.
Tuberculosis.
Okay. Yes, but like, it's from a bacteria.
I just want to give me a little when it's deserved. It's bacteria.
It's a bacteria. I think it's called Mycobacterium tuberculosis is like the name of this bacteria. So it's a disease caused by a bacteria, which, by the way, can be very hard to treat with antibiotics because the cell wall of the bacteria is hard to, I think, penetrate with.
Okay.
With certain
So it's
drugs.
a lot kind of like a wall in itself.
Yes, and it can be very non-resistant to certain antibiotics and all kinds of things. And so, but
That's not concrete.
Concrete?
It's not made of concrete.
No.
Okay.
Definitely not.
Great.
But
it's very impenetrable. I mean, it's very difficult to penetrate concrete.
It used to kill a lot of people in the 1800s, for instance. It was, I think, it killed like 1 in 4 people in England.
So how are they passing this? Is this through mouth?
How are they getting it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, coughing, sneezing, you can get it that way.
You can get it from kissing.
Sure.
In other ways, I'm sure. Even more detailed.
Are you talking
sexual stuff?
I don't know that it.
You could probably get it through sex.
I don't know if it was an STD or not.
No, but you could probably get it through from someone giving it out through their lizard.
That I do not know.
Okay.
I know that.
I think that I just think that it might be possible because I think you can get the flu that way.
Another reason a lot of people were getting it in these older times, though, also was because they didn't know at the time that there was that the disease that cows got and the disease that humans got was so closely related. So they didn't realize that by drinking unpasteurized milk, they could get the disease from cows.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So is that why they started pasteurizing the milk?
Yes. I mean, yes, to save people of many diseases.
What does that even mean?
I think the milk is heated up to certain temperatures and, they're trying to kill bacteria in
Do you know, honestly, up to probably 3 years ago, and I'm being honest, I'm not even just saying this for embellishment purposes on the podcast or for the fans, but I thought pasteurized milk meant it came from like a pasture.
I can see why.
But I guess it kind of does. What's a pasture? It's a small farm.
It's a field. That's fenced in.
That's fenced in. Cows live in fields that are fenced in.
Cows live in pastures a lot.
Okay.
No, you're definitely onto it. You got it.
I'd like to solve it. I'd like to solve.
What do you want to solve?
What is pasteurization? Pasteurize. Alex, for 400, please.
I don't even know.
I was doing a little Jeopardy. I was doing a little bit of a.
Oh no!
It's not even. Well, I was doing. Was it Jeopardy?
You combined them. Again.
I combined Wheel of Fortune and
Jeopardy.
And Jeopardy.
Yeah.
Which would be Jepa Fortune, which would be a great show. Wow, that would be a fun show.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to tonight's show. Okay, great. We'll continue.
So, if you read
Epa Fortune, everybody, Epa Fortune, where you could win literally $100 in the next 30 to 45. I'll edit that out, and I'm going to edit that out for sure. And if it's in the podcast, then I had completely forgotten.
Do you want me to be done?
No, I want you to continue because this stuff is crazy interesting because we're learning about pasteurization. We're learning that that's the reason they started pasteurizing milk was because of tuberculosis.
I don't know if it was specifically tuberculosis, but it was diseases in general.
Got it. So there were more diseases that were being because of unpasteurized milk.
I'm just focusing on tuberculosis.
Oh, so this is just tuberculosis
I'm focusing on.
That you're focusing on. Oh, yeah, I love that.
But by the first half of the 1900s is when pasteurization, I think, became pretty common, and therefore saved a lot of people from becoming infected by drinking milk and cheese, eating cheese.
Got it.
But it didn't mean tuberculosis went anywhere, but it did start to lower the numbers.
Okay.
And so did things like better sanitation and public health campaigns to tell people to wash their hands and things like that.
Yeah.
Just being healthier helped, like like people who are malnourished are at higher.
They're going to be the first to go.
Yeah, actually, people who currently there's I think 5 to 10% or something like that of people in America test positive ever. So it's very rare in America.
Okay.
But in parts of Africa or like Southeastern Asia or different parts of the world, the numbers are a lot higher. And the numbers are particularly high in like the sub-Saharan African areas where people have HIV often. So people with HIV are much more likely to get tuberculosis. And tuberculosis is what I found. Another reason that made me want to look into it is because when I read these books and people in the book are dying for months or years.
It takes that long normally, huh?
Yeah, it can take.
Gosh,
it can take
like
5 years.
I would just have someone kind of finish me for me. Like I would at least get enough strength to do it myself.
Well, I think people are trying to get better the whole time. They're not like, I have this. They're trying. They're hoping to heal from it.
So they're not getting all their stuff in order for that month and kind of getting rid of their things and maybe kind of setting up their bed and kind of tucking themselves in for the long haul.
I think they're trying to survive.
Got it.
And yes, maybe that
you
does
made
mean...
it seem kind of like I'm actually going to die and I'll probably be out in the next month or so. So it's good to see you.
How did I make it seem like that?
By the way you said it. Or I guess when you said it, that's where my mind went.
I think you've lost me.
Well, no, we're talking about tuberculosis.
Tuberculosis. It used to be referred to as consumption, the consumption.
God, that's a wrestler name, isn't it? That's a wrestler name.
Well, it was referred to as the consumption because people lost so much weight.
Consumption. God.
Therefore,
comes in. Ladies and gentlemen, the fighter you've been waiting for, the consumption. I don't know. I just did a little voice. I don't do voices normally, but I did a voice. What do you think? It sounds like a wrestler.
I can see that.
Oh, I would be a fan. What would you think? Okay, if it were a wrestler, what would you want his thing to be?
Well, based on if you're trying to say this is related to tuberculosis,
it can be. It can be inspired. It can be really whatever you want it to be. If
it's inspired by tuberculosis, and people called it the consumption because
called him the consumption.
It consumed people because they lost so much weight, and it was as if the disease had consumed their body, and they became just bags of bones. Then I would guess this wrestler's gimmick would be that he eats people.
Oh shit! Really?
What else?
Eat people? That's fucked up. You don't eat people. No, it's wrestling. It's really? This is like WWE. You can't eat people. There's health regulations and stuff there. He would eat people?
You asked me what his thing would be, and
Oh wow!
I'm saying if it was inspired by tuberculosis.
Well, you went dark. I mean, to eat people. Yeah, you went Donner Party. You went straight Donner Party in the ring. God, he could have just punched someone really hard in the chest. That could have been he could have two-handed punched him in the chest because
well, that doesn't sound like he's consuming.
Well, he's consuming them because he would then finish the fight. He would finish him. And I don't mean that like jerk him off in a way. I just mean he'd finish him. He would punch him in or whatever. Hit him with a couple chairs or whatever. But I guess.
That doesn't sound like consuming.
Maybe he consumes their mind. Maybe okay, fine.
So he has mind control.
No, he can eat them. That's fine. He can eat them. Is he like eating like, okay, yeah, that's fine. He can eat them. The consumption. He's eating him. Look at him. He's eating him alive.
Okay. I can be done.
I'm just trying out some new things. This is I wanted to mention this earlier. You know, they do this with podcasts sometimes where I have a little bit of a thing in my throat from doing the voice. I don't normally do voices, but it does give me a little bit of a thing in the throat. This is the HBP. Thank you for listening, all you HBPs. The heavy bang podcast. Some people they abbreviate it like that. And I thought, oh yeah, everybody's get everybody HBP. Kind of sounds like HPV. I was gonna do a thing there, but then again, I just I don't want to infect anybody with a podcast that they don't want to be infected with. Well, that's some fascinating stuff about tuberculosis.
Yeah, and also I just want to say most people who I think like a quarter of the population of the world has actually been infected with tuberculosis, but
so it's kind of like COVID.
Yes and no, but like most of the cases are called latent tuberculosis, so they don't ever, like somebody with latent tuberculosis can't spread tuberculosis, and the disease hasn't advanced to a point where they're going to get sick from it. You know what I mean? So they can just have the latent tuberculosis and be totally fine, or it can advance and then become like the bad stuff, and then they gotta like. And
did this come out of Wuhan?
No.
Okay.
What did I say about the cows?
That's I didn't know. I didn't know if it had been
antiquity. Remember?
Right. No, I know it's been antiquity a long time ago, but
so Wuhan.
I don't know how long Wuhan's been in production or whatever.
Do you think 17,000 years?
I mean, the Chinese people have been around since the beginning of time.
Do you think this lab has been around since long before Buddha existed, or long before the ancient Rome, or?
I mean, that could have been what caused Rome to fall.
That was not what caused Rome to fall.
Okay, well, it was the Aztecs, and that's fine.
It was not the Aztecs. The Aztecs had nothing to do with the Romans.
Okay, well, here's what I'll say, is that I do think that it's been around for a very long time. I do think that. And you can put that on record. And this and hear me now.
Do you want me to look it up?
How long has Wuhan? Please look it up. Hear me now. I will say it, and I will say it on my own podcast here. Wuhan released tuberculosis. It has been the releaser of tuberculosis for the last how many years? 1800?
You're talking about how long has it been?
How long has tuberculosis been around?
At least 17,000 years.
Okay. Wuhan has been in development for 17,000 years, and it's probably the longest running business on that side of the country. Aside from the Buddhist temples, I'm sure they make a great profit. We're currently watching Survivor for all of our listeners, and I've never really watched the show before, but I am so happy that I have watched it now because I get it. I get why people go on the show. I get why people watch the show. I myself I've been fantasizing about just going to try to survive on an island and making up games for me to do with myself while I'm there. So
Founded
what did you,
in 1956.
holy shit! So I was right. So 1956.
So
lo and behold,
within my mother's lifetime, and she, definitely is not as old as the ancient Egyptians.
So 1956. That was when did the Great Depression start?
In the 30s.
Okay. Well, was it the Roaring 50s?
The Roaring, isn't it the Roaring 20s?
Is it the Roaring 20s or the Roaring 60s?
It's not the Roaring 60s.
Great. Well, shouts out to Wuhan. In the Wuhan lab, I want to say you guys are obviously doing stuff over there, and looks like you're actually making stuff that can kill people, and infect them and make them ill. So, I don't know I don't know whether I don't know.
Not tuberculosis.
But not tuberculosis. So.
Can I say one last thing about tuberculosis that I just remembered?
Let me finish though, because I'm shouting to Wuhan right now because they've become quite a productive factory of virus.
Okay, well, I wouldn't shout out to.
Well, is that what they're trying to do? Are they trying to make bad things? Are they? I mean, because if that's what they're trying to do, then they're doing it. And I just want to say, I see you. I may not see eye to eye with what you what your long-term plan is. But what I will say is that I respect to anybody who's going out there and giving it their all and making shit happen. That's all. Say what you need. What did you want to say about tuberculosis?
I just wanted to say that sometime before, in the time period, I guess, before the Industrial Revolution, people and industrial,
this is when they were making the cars.
This is when
metal was being made.
Gosh. I didn't mean to say Industrial Revolution.
Wow. Okay.
I think I meant to say the Neolithic.
We don't even. What is that even? What is that?
The Neolithic revolution.
I don't know what that is.
Where, at the time when we went from being hunter gatherers to actually settling down in like villages and planting our own foods and staying in one place long enough to grow a population.
So what does this have to do with tuberculosis?
It was leading up until sometime around that era. I can't remember the dates, but sometime around that era and leading up to it, people looked at tuberculosis as being, they thought of vampires with it, because if one person in the household got, and you know what, I shouldn't have said any dates, Neolithic or industrial, because now I can't remember the date at all.
You can make the correction next episode.
There was just a time in history where people would think vampire when they thought of tuberculosis, because if one person in the household got sick and died, and then the rest of the people in the household slowly over time started to be consumed by it. The consumption. The people thought that like the person who had died was like feeding off of the rest of the family.
There was a lot of that kind of stuff. I feel like a lot of spirit stuff back probably in the beginning of tuberculosis.
Anyway, a lot of fascinating stuff.
That stuff, can I say, was so fascinating. It was great. And I didn't know about any of that stuff. And I know our listeners didn't either.
Well, some did for sure.
I'm sure some did. But here's what I will say. I know that they loved it because I did as well.
Thank you.
You're so pretty.
Thank you.
Well, it is that time. Motivational Speech of the day. Gosh, are you feeling sad? Do you have anxiety? Are you feeling constipated? Do you have a headache? Well, this is the segment for you. This is the segment where we move things, where we make things better, more comfortable. And that's what this time is. Circus. Penis, trouser snake, hidden in a basket. Circuses are everywhere. Snakes are everywhere. Woven baskets are everywhere. I want to say right now that if you have a woven basket in your home, that you probably have magazines somewhere in the This is what I'll say. If you have those magazines in the house, throw them out. Throw them away. Get them out of here and throw them in the garbage or recycling if they're no good anymore. Because life is going to get turned up for you. It is going to get turned up quick, and it's going to get you where you need to get it best. And, oh, God. Grace, come on, dog. You need to be quiet. Listen, hey, go make the dog stop. Grace, come on. You're ruining the pot. I'm in the middle of, I'm sorry. And for the listeners, I'm trying to motivate, but the dog is making noise. So, and it's alive, so it actually will continue to make noise until it is no longer alive. Which brings me to this. Are you feeling down? Are you feeling low? Are there thistles in your trousers? Then you need to turn your energy inside out and lift it up and jerk it to the side. Because you got a ramshackle of bad energy that's doing juju bad stuff inside you. And that mistake was my bad. That was my bad, you guys. I'm just trying to lift. And that is what here's what I will say. And here's what I'll say. Here's what I'll say. You guys, not now. Thank you so much. You'll give me the applause in a minute. Are you feeling blue? Do you have drippy wet sweat dripping off the forehead and the corners of your ears? Are your toenails actually going inside of the ends of your toes? They're getting to turn inside. God damn it. And I'm sorry to the listeners. I'm sorry. No, I haven't finished. Oh my God. Okay. Keep it together. God damn it anyway. Son of a bitch. Son of a trouser snakes. They'll get you. They'll get you when you're walking in the forest. You gotta keep your eyes peeled. Keep your eyes peeled. Oh, because the circus is coming to town. And there's all sorts of stuff in there. And that's why I urge you. That is why I urge you to get out of the house. If you're feeling down, you want to kill yourself, get out of the house. The circus is in town and it will cheer you up. It is a place to go to have a good time. It is a place to go to see stuff, to feel good, to see other human beings looking at weird stuff together. That is why I'm saying you need to turn your life up. Turn your vision up. Buy the ticket. Buy the ticket to the circus. Buy the ticket to the weird stuff. See the shit. Because suddenly the circus is going to leave town and then you're going to want to kill yourself and maybe you already be dead or something. So buy the ticket. Be a yes man or a yes woman or whatever. Be whatever, just be a yes. And if you're a no, let it only be on the opposite day or whenever that happens. I think it happens once a year. Just let yourself feel, let yourself come to the circus where we will lift your energies and we will inspire you and we will show you the ways of the tiger and the ways of the flying monkey who also drums on a timble, cymbal, and we'll also show you an elephant, and it'll just be very short, very quickly though. That is why I urge you to go to the circus, because of stuff like that you're going to see. And it doesn't come to town too often. So buy the ticket, take the ride. And that's the episode. Thank you guys for listening. We'll see you next week.